What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Paddock, and today I'm going to show you 3 simple steps to help your melodies flow. When you hear a professional musician play a melody, you are almost never going to hear them just play the notes and rhythms exactly as written. They are always going to interpret it, and they're going to do certain things that really make the melody flow or sing or give it a more lyrical character. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you 3 really simple steps that you can add to any melody that you're going to play that will make it sound a whole lot better. To demonstrate these techniques, I am going to use the Beatles song, Let It Be. I'm going to start off by doing an as-is version of the melody. In other words, I'm just going to play the notes and rhythms that are written on the sheet music without any interpretation. When I play it like that, it doesn't flow at all. It just sounds like a whole bunch of notes that just happen to be next to each other. So the first step for making a melody flow and sound a whole lot more musical is to find the goal notes. So the goal notes are the most important notes in the melody, and to use dynamics and articulations to bring out those goal notes. So I'm going to play Let It Be again, and this time I'm going to use some dynamics and articulations to bring out my goal notes. As you could hear, that sounded a whole lot more musical, and all I did was change my dynamics and articulations and brought out some of the more important notes. That made a huge difference from just playing the notes and rhythms. So let's talk about what a goal note is. So all notes are not created equally. There are some that are more important, and there are notes that belong to the goal note. So this song starts off with 3 Gs. If I play it like that, it doesn't sound musical at all. The most important G is the 3rd G, which is on beat 1 of the first full measure. The first 2 Gs are 8th notes, which are pickup notes. So if I play those notes and I crescendo into the 3rd G and make the 3rd G the more important note, it sounds a whole lot more musical. So that's what a goal note is. It's the most important note in the phrase that you are playing. So I'm going to play a version of Let It Be one more time, and this time I'm going to play the goal notes really strong. You're going to see that they are mostly the longer notes, or the last note in a repeated set of notes, or a top note. You're going to see that they're the more important notes in this melody. Now, that is not the most musical version of that song, but I'm sure you could hear the goal notes that I was bringing out as I played that melody. So what you want to do with goal notes is you want to use your dynamics and your articulation to bring the goal notes out and make them sound a lot more important. If you'd like to get a whole lot better at playing melodies, then I would like to invite you to check out the Scott Paddock Sax School. In the Sax School, every time I teach you a new song, we start off by learning the notes and rhythms phrase by phrase, and then once you've got the notes and rhythms down, we go back and talk about how to make it a whole lot more musical by bringing out the dynamics, the articulations, and of course the goal notes. As you get deeper into the saxophone school and the more advanced lessons, then we also talk about how to ad-lib on each song. So if you want to get really good at playing melodies, stop by the Scott Paddock Sax School. I'll put a link in the video description. Once you've got the concept of using dynamics and articulations to bring out your goal notes, the next step is to ad-lib on the melody or personalize the melody. Now on a song like this, when we ad-lib on it, ad-lib means to personalize it by adding stuff to it. We're not going to add a lot of notes. We're not going to add a bunch of licks to it. We're basically just going to play with the rhythm a little bit. We're going to play with the time so it's not so strict, and we're going to change the rhythm up a little bit more so that it flows. When a professional musician plays a melody, they are almost never playing it perfectly in time. They're always pulling back or pushing forward or doing some things with the time so that it floats over top of the track or the band that they're playing with. So take a listen to this version of Let It Be where I play with the time a little bit and I ad-lib on the rhythms. That made it sound a whole lot more lyrical and it had a way better flow to it. The reason for it is because I wasn't playing the rhythm so strict. That's almost never going to sound musical when you play a melody so strict. You want to be floating over top of it and using the time to express the way the melody is supposed to sound. When you do that, you can really personalize the way the melody sounds. Now, the next step, and what is going to make it sound really good, is adding in some embellishments. Embellishments are ornamental things that you're going to do to a note. Things like grace notes, turns, and falls. So it's just going to make the melody sound a little bit more frilly, and it's going to flow a lot more because of these little ornaments that we're going to be throwing on certain notes. By adding in those embellishments, it really makes the melody flow more and sound more lyrical. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples of exactly what I'm doing. So when I play that A, that last note that I played, I'm just doing a grace note. And I'm not doing it super strong because I don't want the grace note to be super articulated. I just want to put a little something on that note. Then from that A, I go down to an E, and I do a fall between the A and the E. Listen to it in context. Again, I'm just doing things to the melody to make it flow more and sound a lot more lyrical. On that E, I'm doing a little turn. I call that a half turn. When I go from the E up to the F, back to the E. Again, it's just another way to make the melody flow. So I'm going to play Let It Be one more time, and this time I want you to pay really close attention to all of the embellishments that I'm adding. The 3 steps to making your melodies flow and sound a whole lot better are 1. Use dynamics and articulations to bring out your goal notes. 2. Ad-lib on the melody so that the rhythm doesn't sound so strict. And 3. Use embellishments so that everything flows and sounds a whole lot more lyrical. Thanks for taking the time to check out this video. If you'd like to dive deeper into my saxophone world, then check out the Scott Paddock Sax School.